Katie says it may be time to rotate out of last year's high flyers and into the 2024 laggards for the technical take on this trade. Let's go off the charts, Katie, and certainly we saw some of that rotation that you're predicting today.
Yeah, I would say that we're already starting to see this rotation. And first and foremost, it's come from software stocks. So those were among the biggest outperformers of late. And all of a sudden, we've seen sort of a reversal, of course, in that relative performance. If you look at software versus semis, I agree with you, Tim, that semis may resurface as an outperformer. Now, in a more neutral tape, maybe that doesn't mean too much. But that relationship certainly seems to have shifted, and that would be from one leading sector into a lagging sector like semis. Now, also, we're seeing it elsewhere, and it's a bit more defensive in the rotation where healthcare, specifically pharma, has caught a very short-term bid. And I think that's pretty interesting also in relative terms. It seems to be occurring at the expense of the Mag 7, for one, and also software. And we're also seeing it in defense. So defense stocks, which have really been under pressure, both in absolute and relative terms, have negative momentum, and yet they're oversold, and they've largely come into very strong support levels. So we're kind of interested. You see Merck, inch above its 50-day moving average. You start to see some of these stocks find their footing. And to us, that seems to be a bit of a trade.
And all this within the prism for you that we are due for a correction in the first quarter.
Yeah, you would expect to see those defensive sectors start to outperform, at least in relative terms, versus the S&P when you're getting into a more skittish environment like we believe we have right now. So we think that defensive positioning is correct on the sector front, but we've been recommending to our clients to be hedged from a top-down perspective when you see the volatility pick up like it has done. And that doesn't mean you go buy those pharma names necessarily, but, be more open to them as we see them find their footing.